Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the talk series organized by Research Management Center, International Islamic University Malaysia. So for everyone, and notification, this is the third series that have been organized by RMC for this year. So before we start our program for today, let's start with a recitation of Kitab Al-Fatiha. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri qawli. So again, welcome to all participants today. I believe we've got academics, researchers who are interested to know more about today's topic. And so before we start with our program, I would like to invite the director of RMCIUM, Professor Amin Shafiq, to give some opening speech. Without further ado, please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Dr. Izzat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and good morning. On behalf of RMC and IIUM, okay, I'd like to welcome Prof. Engineer Dr. Muhammad Safwan Salid, okay, from Department of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering, UPM. Okay, so we very much like to thank you, okay, for you to give in a talk on how to be an outstanding researcher, reality or fantasy, especially for us here in IIUM. So again, thank you very much. Okay, and I really hope that what we're going to be shared today, okay, will be beneficial to all. Thank you very much. Okay, back to you, Dr. Izzat. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, thank you again to Prof. Amir for the opening speech. So today's Wednesday. It's just like very fast. We return to November, almost 2 months left before the end of 2022. So, and then I believe the spirit of doing the research still high among our researchers in IUM. And then it's already the start of I believe in IUM right now, we're on the 4th week of the semester for both postgraduate and also undergraduate. So before we invite our speakers for today, let me give some brief introduction for our speakers for today. So our speakers for today is Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Safwan Salid from FASC, Department of Mechanical, Manufacturing and Engineering, University Putra Malaysia, UPM. So Professor Muhammad Safwan has been a long time in his experience in research and also in academic as well. And then recently, our Prof. Safwan has won an award, Icon Academia Year of 2022, on the event of Majlis Sambutan Hari Akademia Tahun 2022 in national level. So this is also it means that his experience has been acknowledged by the country itself. So that's why I would like to invite Professor Insinyur Safwan to share his experience with us. So as mentioned by Prof. Amir just now, our today's topic, we are going to talk about be an outstanding researcher, whether it's reality or fantasy. Because some of you, I believe, even myself, I'm still considered as young researchers, still 5 years plus, and I believe a lot of my colleagues as well, still try to understand and grab how exactly to be an outstanding researcher. We heard a lot of stories from everyone, from our seniors, from colleagues, like how high achievement they've got. But then in reality, for us as the young researcher, or even like other researchers as well, like, is it possible in the current situation, with the current economic situation, political situation in Malaysia? Is it still a reality or is it just a fantasy? So for that purpose, without further ado, I would like to invite our speakers for today, Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Safwan Salid, to present his talk. Assalamualaikum, Prof. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, I'm good.
So you are right now from the campus, or you're currently working from anywhere?
From somewhere else, from outside.
From somewhere else. Okay, so I would like to give the stage to you, please, Prof.
Okay, terima kasih, Dr. Izzat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you IIUM, RMC IIUM, for inviting me to deliver this lecture. Okay, I will start my lecture now. I got problem this is, yeah, okay. Okay, I think Dr. Izzat has mentioned this. 2 days ago, I received this recognition from Ministry of Higher Education as Icon Academia 2020, one of the 13, and it was the occasion. I received the certificate from Dr. Usaini from KPT, Director General of Higher Education. Okay, just the outline of my presentation. After the introduction, I will talk about the approach to become an outstanding researcher and some good quality of researchers. And I also will be sharing experience, and I will conclude my lecture. Okay, now we are in this environment, the competitive academic environment. A lot of emphasis on the academic ranking, publication numbers, and research value, research grant values. The importance of online indicators of the scholarly productivity like H-index, citation, impact factor, they are being emphasized a lot. And I think when I said this, I don't mean that we forget about the contribution to the society, to the nation. No, this is also part of our task, but this is what is in reality. And also a lot of emphasis being attached to this form of knowledge, academic knowledge, but we also have to be with the society, the people in the rural area, in this in our community, in where we in the Taman where we stay. This one this is also part of our job as a task as lecturer. But when we talk about the academic proper, this is the thing that we are being posed day by day. So in my lecture, apart from this topic, I also talk about how our research or our work can impact on the society and on economy of our country. Yeah. So we have responsibilities. So we have to create and maintain positive and realistic perspective on academic career, so that our career is under control, productive, and we are able to fulfill relationship with our colleagues. Okay, since the topic that are given to me is on research, so I will focus more on research. And Sharp and his colleague 2002 has defined research as seeking through methodical processes to add to one's own body of knowledge and to that of others by discovery of non-trivial facts and insight. This is like kind of a definition of the research. So it is important, in this environment, we should publish our work in journal of high reputes, in a journal in Q1, for instance, high impact journal, and we work with the researchers. They are cited frequently, the collaborators, and we also should gain the experience in applying and securing research funding, demonstrate research project management, research grant, which deliver output on time and within budget, and understand the process of quality assessment in research. So I put here highly cited researchers. I think this is our target, or we can say that people with this highly cited researcher, they are really, have achieved very high standard of research. But nowadays, there are other indicators like Stanford, Elsevier. They come up with a top 2%, I think, of the world researcher. So more people can be in that group, because highly cited researcher is only very limited, and normally they're the same people every year who got this recognition. So when this Stanford come up from 2 years ago, come up with this another indicators that there are researchers in the world, they are cited, they are listed among best 2%. I think more people, I mean, have got involved. And this is one of the, I mean, the message from from Professor Azlin, that I should talk more how to become, top researcher and 2%. I mean, the world top researcher, etc. So it's also important that for us to be conversant with the current issues in higher education concerning research, and we establish networking with the researchers who are aware of our research activities and can advise on research strategies, and using conferences, for instance, seminar conferences to raise profile within these disciplines and use as a platform for publication. And we should analyze the selection criteria of academic excellence. For example, for senior lecturership, or the associate professor, professor. I believe in IUM also have a different ranking of professor. We have here in our university, as public university, you have C grade, B grade, and A grade, and we can go up to Professor Ulung, distinguished professor given by KPT. So this, should be, we should analyze this, what are criteria. And this we will provide evidence that meet the standard. Okay. So we must select also research commitment carefully. I mean, in research also there are some committees and some panels. So we should select what are, so that we don't go for just for any committees. Be selective, and we have to maintain balance in academic roles. Though the topic here is on research, but as the academic, we also have to do teaching, good teaching, and services, and we must meet the requirement of all. So for this, we have to create a research plan, and also once again, I said we have to apply research grant, and which is nowadays is quite difficult to get. And this is another important element in research, that we have to have our mentor and our peers, and for support, and also the collaborators. Okay, we must understand the context. What is our research fields? Like myself, I'm in mechanical engineering, so areas of interest. I'm working in composite material, and more specialized in natural fiber composite, metal selection for composite, the conceptual design for composite, design for sustainability. We should know what is our field and our areas. We shouldn't go beyond that. What do we want to be in the next 5 years? As Dr. Izzat mentioned that, the next 5 years, what you want to be? You're new lecturers. So I think this lecture is meant for the new lecturers, but of course, it's all open for the others as well, who are likely to be our research and publishing colleagues. This is the contact that we should know. And other approach, how we must determine how strongly you want to be a researcher. Okay, I just want to finish my career with associate professor. I want to become professors, and even higher grade professors. I want to be known in the country or even the world. Well, I said, what for? People may ask, what for? Well, we are talking within this academic context. We're not talking in other contexts, right? So we want to be excellent, and do not feel discriminated because you are young. I mean, I'm talking about for the young lecturers, new. And you should know yourself. You should know your strength, and you must choose your own research direction and build a system to reinforce your strength and overcome your deficiency. So you have to build a system around how to reinforce, perhaps through the collaboration, through the publishing in top. So you have to build the system. Set specific achievement target. Manage your time, which is very important, because you don't want to do writing papers all the time, and also going for exhibition all the time, or you want to producing pattern. But you have to be balanced. But knowing your strength, you have to focus. Like myself, I know my strength is on writing and publication. So I focus on that without neglecting others, like going to exhibition or you know, to go for supervision and manage your time and recognize the opportunity in the academic life. You must know, and there are some in academic there are time that the cycle of that. Okay, this is a time for you to apply for your associate professorship. This is the time, there is, normally in April, a lot of awards, by the institution and funding body, they give award. Maybe like Mahadi Science Prize, they close around April, so around this time. So this is the time, opportunity come. You're not coming all the time, and support your colleagues in their endeavors. You must work together, and mentor and inspire them as well. So for the new lecturers, this is my advice: make an early impact. Early years of your academic career is critical for the next 10 to, for the next 5 to 10 postdoctoral years. Meaning that after you complete your PhD, you have the first 5 to 10 years. It's very important. Very important to establish and focus. Don't leave it until late. There are colleagues of mine and they're already 50 years old. Well, now they realize that, wow, it's a time for me to write papers to get good H index, etc. But don't leave it till the end. So when you leave it till the end, you'll have pressure. You leave it, start it early. Establish association with colleagues. Show to the existing or future colleagues the diligence and productivity. You must your work must be visible. This lead to the invitation, for instance, to present conference, invited lectures in conference, to review papers and supervise thesis, and to join a research team. Review papers maybe looks very ordinary, very simple things, but many people they don't like to do that because they say, it's no credit. But actually, this is very important. And one thing, if you look at your annual evaluation or even for promotion, that one of the questions, whether you have a review paper and whether outside people have consulted you. So review paper is one of them, but the easiest one actually you are to be offered. And then I never reject, if as fast as I can say 90% or 95%, whenever any journal asks me to review the papers, I will entertain. Not because I want to ask the authors to quote my papers. It's not my practice. I think it's not a good practice also. But normally when I review paper, I look at the positive side. I know what is the style of writing papers, and I found it. Now so far in Pablon, the record. I got 1,400 papers that I already reviewed. In Pablon. So this is very important as far as I'm concerned, because you'll be able to learn new technology, new research direction, new research field. Yeah. So, and by doing this review, the style, the style of the paper. What are the common in every paper that you must have. Like for example, when I review paper, when I write paper, one of the important thing, like at the end of the introduction, you must have. Some people said research question, research objective, research hypothesis. This is very important. Maybe 1 or 2 lines, but they are very important. That many professors, many editors want to look to see that, but many researchers they ignore that. And also about the result and discussion. So when we talk about discussion, it's very important that we must try to compare our work with published work. People say there's no work that can be compared with my work. My work is new. It does not mean that. Actually, what it means is that your work must be supported by some theories and some published work, and should be explain the science behind that. Not just you present your work. You present your work, and then that's it. You discuss on your own, but try to link it with the published work. Okay, we may have diverse interests. One person, he may have the interest in languages, in social science, and he can even when you work master's English, he also like to do arts, painting. Yeah, this is good, to see the wonder in everything. But as far as our academic career is concerned, people want to see we specialize in certain field and get known for that particular capability. Even when you sit for the interview, one of the interviewers question to me, what do you want to profess? You know, in what field you want to profess? You are professor. In which field you are trying to profess? So if you go for any, just any field, so it's not focus, all fragmented. So this is not so good. So focus on your strength and get mentors and support. Successful academic early in the career, look for mentors for even from his department and outside department. There are people who can guide you from inside or from outside. And having good advice, paying attention to it is important in academic career. You must be guided with somebody. You cannot start on your own. If somebody will suggest to you, the professor will guide you, will give a shortcut to your research. So the good guidance and support that helps success in a career research, in the early career researchers, support more productive research and networking, help in stress management. Okay, characteristic of a good researcher, I list several characteristics. This one is really, I mean, if you have all these, it's really ideal, but at least, you try to have some of this or inculcate some of this quality within yourself to be good, excellent researcher. So you must be intelligent. Research require critical analysis. I believe every lecturers, who have PhD and then they have this intelligent research to do ability to, carry out the critical thinking and analysis. Must have an analytical mind, constantly analyzing many factors, the ability to stay calm and cool, and you must be committed. Don't give up. If you decide to write a paper, and go for it. Don't give up and go for it. Spend time. You must commit yourself to the certain work. Excellent in writing and verbal communication are important in research. Okay, whether you like it or not, you must have good command of English writing and also communication, because you have to deliver the lectures in conference, in seminar, workshop, training. You are invited as keynote speakers and plenary speakers, invited speakers, and ethical. You must be ethical as a researcher. Don't do things like data frauds, data falsification, plagiarism, and also you do all kind of thing which is not good for researcher. And you must be a good reader, because in order to do research, you have to do a lot of reading. And be disciplined and persistent. This is one important thing. Sometimes you have one paper you send to a journal, and the remark from the reviewer is very nasty, but you shouldn't give up. And sometimes it's only your feeling, or it's just not good. But actually, when you sit down after say 2-3 days, you find it what the comment was within you to address all the issues. And you must be open-minded, in doing research. You must be honest in doing research. You must be creative and look after your time. Time management is very important. Sometimes because of this lack of time management, there's a missed opportunity, and you must think quickly, and must be have this curiosity and open to criticism, especially in the reviewing process. A lot of criticism from the referees or reviewers, and you must have some love to the profession. If you don't have the attachment and liking to the work you are doing, it's just quite difficult to become a good researcher. Okay, I have enumerated some attributes for good researcher, but if we can inculcate in ourselves, that is excellent. Okay, one important elements in research is to secure funding. As university budget nowadays are limited, and lecturers are required to secure research funding on their own. That is it's a reality these days. If you compare to say 10, 15 years ago, the grant is not that difficult to get. Even you apply 3 grants, you get 2 grants. You got 2 out of 3. But nowadays this is not easy. Even the granting bodies, they are facing a lot of limited budget from ministry, KPT, or from MUSTI. We have to compete with a small amount of budget. Even it's difficult to get the grant from the industries. And you can get information through your RMC also. Some international granting body also give you some money. But about say 15 years ago, there was a professor from US, and he came to our university, to our department as the external assessor for our program. So in his speech, or in his remark during the meeting, he said it was 2007 or something, quite some time ago. He said that the best researcher, what is the best researcher? When he applied for grant, what is the percentage of winning the grant? And he asked us, the crowd, in the meeting, what do you think? If he say, suppose he applied for 10 grant, how many grant he should get, for him to qualify as the best researcher? We said, or maybe 5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. But that time he said, no. If you win only 2 grants out of 10, you are the best researcher. Meaning that he himself, in US in those days, found it difficult to get grant. We cannot imagine that time, because during these days, as I mentioned, sometimes we applied 3 grants, we got 2 grants. Now this is the time that what is being said by that professor is coming to reality. Yeah, sometime even last year or year before, I apply until 15 grant, but I don't get 1. Maybe I got only 1 from the internal grant. That is a difficulty that we face now, and particularly for the new, the lecturers. You are required to get grant, and you are required to do research. You have to publish. You have to perhaps supervise student. But all this require funding. But the funding is the main issue. So there are many grants there around. Normally, we rely on public funding, but we must accept this is no longer available that much. So we should look at others as well. If you are blessed with the, with the relationship, have good relationship with the industries, and also your product, for example, accepted by the industry, you may get, more funding from industry through consultancy, contract research, from industrial grant, even from endowment. They give you, for example, one machine, UTM, for example, universal testing machine we use in your lab. That is very excellent. And on top of that, we have international grant that, there are many funding bodies in the world. They are willingly to give you the money, but provided that you are willing to write a good proposal and keep trying and trying, inshallah, you will get it. But in my time, I think I don't face a lot of difficulties to get grant, even whether we like to apply or not. This is the main issue. But nowadays, we find it's a bit difficult to get. Okay, when we talking about grant, what are really the main content? I think this. I just want to recap. What are the priority for the granting organization? Aim of research, our proposal must be consistent with the interest. For example, suppose the Mardi is giving the grant. It's only example. They are agricultural based, so our research proposal should be, tuned to that. The quality of proposal, the originality. Please don't, copy anyone's proposal. This is wrong. And significance of expected result, strength in your proposal. And the caliber of the researcher, the quality of research team is important. That's why if you are junior lecturers, you try to invite some professors, prominent professors, to be in your team. They will help you, to boost your reputation, in your proposal. So that's why it's very important, the research record, qualification, any success story in applying, in getting the research funding, and the outcome from the proposal, likelihood of successful conclusion. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, I want to talk about impact of research. In one of my earlier slide, I mentioned now we are the environment. People are talking a lot about H-index, citation, the impact factors. Whether we like it or not, we are in this environment already, and this is called academic impact. This may be important for our promotion. When we want to apply grant, they are looking at this. Even any collaborators want to collaborate with us, the one thing they will ask, what's your H-index? And they want to see the, publication record. How many papers in Q1 journal, for example, with this Clarivate. This is one aspect of impact, but the more importantly, on economic and societal impact. What our contribution to the society and to the economy? Why we need to do that? This is just an example of the impact. So why we need to have this social impact? Why social impact is important? Because economic and social impact provide accountability for the spending of public money. So we have received, say, for example, 100,000 for 2 years. A lot of money, and this is not our money. This is a public funding through taxpayers, and we have to, spend it wisely, and we must be accountable for that. So we do research that benefits the society, the community, right? And that's why in the output of the research, yes, we are asked about publication, Q1, Q2 journal. But you must also remember that there's some element of like business element that related to commercialization. How about IP? How about patent? How about that knowledge transfer? These are all important for the society. So you transfer your knowledge through this funding research. You go to the rural community, give talk to them, transfer the knowledge to them. And also the impact, the importance of impact, it improves the quality of research because it enables engagement with the beneficiaries. So this is the reason why impact to society is important in our research. You go back to the academic impact. So normally when we talk about academic impact, people would like to see, the number of citation, H-index, how many papers they publish in Q1, even some of the, like you apply for Anugerah Akademi Negara, they want to see the papers in the top 10% in your field. And there are many things like that, and for the MyRA, for example, they want to see how many papers published in Q1 and Q2, and these are also important, for us, for as far as academic is concerned. And the example of the social and economic impact includes the creation and sharing of new knowledge and innovation, invention of groundbreaking products, creation of company and job, utilization of agricultural waste from waste to well, this example is from my own research field, enhancement of quality of life and health. So this is the other example of the social and economic impact. Normally if you apply, for example, a grant, they ask you for what are the impact, social impact. Even when we apply for the prestigious awards, for example, Mahathir Science Prize, Merdeka Award, and even IIT Achievement Awards, and many awards, they ask for this, the impact of your research on the society, on the economy. So this is very important. And when I attended my interview for C-grade interview, one of the questions that my dean mentioned that you should try to master this. What are the impacts of your research to the society and the community, to the economy, as well as the academic impact? So you must be able to tell the people. And for research, you need good facilities. And I believe, university like IIUM, even our university UPM, we are one of the research university like USM last week. I gave a similar talk. They are APEC University, they are really research university, So we have good facilities, alhamdulillah. Despite that, there are some, the restriction, some limitation. For example, in our university, as I mentioned, funding is limited, but almost every machine that use SEM, FTIR, TGA, universal testing machine, we have to pay. Though it's in our own lab, in our department. Just the money is within our department, but you have to pay them. There's there's no such thing as free, Nowadays, there's some equipment, of course, you can use it for free. That's why to some extent we need funding. We need also collaboration, and sometimes we work in collaboration with other lab. Some lab, they will charge you free. They don't charge you anything, and then they conduct some experiment in their lab, and then we share the paper together. Okay, this is another strategy to maximize the facilities. The benefit from the facilities that we and our colleagues and other university have. So that's why research infrastructure, facilities, and equipment are important. And this is a visibility. It's very important as a researcher. Of course, you are still junior in second year of your, career. So after PhD, so this is not easy to get. But you have to nurture it. You have to nurture it, because one of the reason I'm invited here is not just to talk to you about how to do research, but also how you want to progress in research. And you may be visible after 10, 20 years, but you have to start from now. You need to promote your research to your colleagues and community. And it's not that you want to show off or something. This is not with that spirit, this is what I've done, I know sometimes it's not so good also, but this is not with that spirit. As far as research is concerned, the research should be visible. Why it should be visible? In my personal opinion, you have to be visible and discoverables, because there are a lot of opportunity there. Nowadays, my practice is to write books. Because one thing, I have the interest in writing from the beginning of my career. So, but I can see that through books writing, with international publishers like Wiley and Springer, Elsevier, CRC Press, you publish internationally, so it appears in Amazon. Your name appears in everywhere. So people know that if you're looking for expert, they will come to you. I just give you some example. One example. My area is in green composite. So we published 2 books on green composite. One of them, green composite manufacturing. The other one, green composite in design and application. So one ministry or agency within the ministry is looking for expert in green manufacturing. So it so happened that I published work on the book on green composite with the subtopic manufacturing. So they thought I'm the expert in the area, green manufacturing. They found a match between these 2 keywords, or they invited me. It was a good opportunity for me to conduct training and on the topic of green manufacturing. So I asked them, how do you know me? How do you know me? So we through your books, So this is only one example. There are many examples. People are looking for the external examiner. One thing they can look into your journal, of course. But in journal, you are competing with so many people. There's so many. If talking about the world scenario, when you talk about biocomposite, there are many people in biocomposite. Even in Malaysia, or within our university, or within our department, there are many experts specializing in the same area. So you must be stand out. So one of my strategy is to write books. Now we have written about 50 books, 55 books, and more, about 15 books within the pipeline. So we are working more on that. So this is one way, I think one good way for for us to be visible. And there are many other things, but many other benefits to be visible within research. And when people want to, give some award, for example, like early this year, or just last month, one institution, in the country, they just send this, a form to me, please apply this award, because we think you are qualified, because they see through our track record, through our H-index, through our Scopus, Google Scholar, this was very important. And as you know, how to become the top 22%, they need citation from your, the published work. But now, when you become the reviewer, if you ask the reviewer to quote all these 10 papers within and put in your paper, to many people they said this is not correct. You cannot do that. This is unethical. So how, if you ask some colleague, please cite my papers, and you have maybe 10, 20 colleagues in the country or overseas, please cite my paper. It's not very positive. You are forcing people to cite your work. So that should come natural. How this thing can come natural? That's why you have to, build the system. You have to keep publishing, and anything that you have, you publish it. I think people sometimes got fed up with this term publishing. Why journal? Why journal? But believe me, from the beginning of my career, I just focused on writing. Anything that I found that can be published, I publish it. Because in about 20 years, 25 years ago, there's some emphasis on Scopus, all these things. So we keep publishing and make it a practice to publish. Now my first 200 papers, they are mainly non-cited, non-indexed journal. Just the first 200. But because you are so used to writing, and then when the Scopus and impact factors has been in place and become important, we don't find it difficult, because to write a journal paper to any journal, non-indexed journal, they are just as difficult as publishing in Q1 or Q2 for that matter. So that's why, my ladies and gentlemen, so we have to keep publishing the work, and even your students' undergraduate work, try to make effort. Though I know this is not very high quality, but try to improve that. Maybe you combine 2 theses in one paper, or you have to put your own input. You can publish. So this is the way how you will be known and will be discovered. And as I mentioned here, promotion of work is important for career development. For example, any organization want to invite you to become the reviewer for their research proposal, they will find the expert worldwide. Okay. This is another important topic, that learn about local culture and use the system. This is my advice to new lecturers, those who are new in the department, new in the faculty. You must know what is the local culture. What I mean by local culture, when I first joined my faculty back in 1998 after I got my PhD, so I noticed that there are so many, staff, senior staff, even the dean, they have this status IR for their name. So I thought, I compare with other universities, they're not that many. So the culture within that faculty, that many of them are active in the professional body and in IM, etc. So you try to fit within that system. So they have their own culture, and there are some university, for example, they like to go to for any exhibition. Some university, they spend a lot of time on that, and there are some, they are active in conducting or organizing conference. You have to be with them. This is very important, because they are the colleague that will be working with you for the next 10, 20 years. Okay, this is another important issue in research. Okay, I've written here perform well at job promotion interview. Why I said this? Because within our career, say 30 years, 40 years, we will have to sit for different interview for promotion. So one thing, you must target early promotion, see? And then think about promotion to the senior lecturership, associate professor, professor, or professional chair, even the highest distinguished professor at national level. See, you must know what are the requirements during the interview. So in my earlier career, when I sit for the interview for the lecturer, post lecturer, the question was simple. What do you think at that time? There's some political issue in the country. What do you think about politics? I mean, the lecturers involving in politics, that kind of question, very simple question. What are the mission and vision of this university? But when you go for the higher post, like, associate professor or even professor, they will ask you a question, what is the contribution to the nation? What are the contribution what are your contribution to the world? And what is your stand? What is your standing? What is your standing in the world arena, academic, and also what is your standing at national level, and what are the impact of your research into the society? These are the very, very important questions during interview, and this had a, maybe if you can answer this confidently, there's a chance for you to be promoted, provided of course you have fulfilled all the requirement. And also, I always talk to my colleague that in research, don't look for in interview, don't go for the minimum. Always find a wow factor. Wow, you are good in this. You have won a lot of award, or you have won this, very, prestigious awards. There should be some wow factors. Or your H index is very high. Though we only expect you have to have 10 H index, but you have maybe 25. This kind of thing, So we must prepare. During interview, and a lot of people in their career, they are so frustrated about their performance during their interview, and even to the extent they're not even allowed to enter. They wait outside and then they check. Oh, okay, just go. Next time you come. And even they are being, told that you cannot speak. You cannot speak. How you want to become professor? You cannot talk during interview. So this thing is you must be very particular about. Okay, as a lecturers, as we have to manage our career. We have done a lot of done a lot of work even on daily basis, improving teaching, or better engage with the students, extra journal paper to write, additional committee membership, extra admin work, so many work, and you are loaded with work, you are stressful with work. So what is, you have to manage your career. Okay, at least there are 3 ways to respond to this. Yeah, we have a lot of work. How you want to respond to this workload? One way is to say, first, the first one is to do less, and then bye-bye to the academic career. You don't perform anything, you don't do anything. Secondly, you do everything. You publish work, you read, you do consultation work, join in any committees, and do community service, membership of any active membership, to the extent you forgo all your life, like exercise, family, you ignore them. But the third one is the best one. You should have the balance. Yeah, develop plan that acknowledge variability of life and academic work, and satisfy long and short-term career and personal ambition. Okay, must have balance. This is another important attributes for researcher. They must have this quality of research leadership. they must become leader. And if you attend interview, for instance, they want to see that you have the research leadership quality. Or even when you apply for the awards, prestigious award, please explain your leadership in research. Well, in my opinion, you have to do research. As your career develops, you will be, but it comes, without you ask, because post is everywhere in your university, and also related to research. You will be offered the roles, to manage a small research group, for example, research center, to become deputy dean in research, and research coordinator, the research seminar coordinator, anything that relates to research. So this will come to you, but you must also show some attribute of research. Through your leadership, you manage to, in your center, you manage to organize international conference, for example. You become the chairman for international conference. And this thing, you use them to achieve your, all the activity is what means for you to research, achieve the research leadership. You see that, the post that I mentioned, like appointed as research group head, head of research center, deputy dean research, director of research institute, deputy vice chancellor, so the highest level, and leading big groups like project. You are applying for LRGS, long research grant from the government. You are become the leader for that, project leader, or chairing a conference. They are this example of research leadership, which is very important, especially towards when you in your advanced stage of your career. Yeah, this one is a manage your time. You must manage your time. After planning overall direction of your coming years, I mentioned about 10 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, sorry. To be successful in academic world is to plan on weekly basis and on daily basis. Nowadays in university, as long as we write books, write a journal paper, get a grant, submit the article or teach the class, where and how we get it, I think they are not very strict about that. You have to have the collaboration. You have to go overseas, and you have to go to the field, to the village to get some data. This is allowed, and you have to manage time. Time management is vital to satisfy research demand and to maintain work-life balance. It's again and again I mentioned work-life balance is very important of research and academic goals. No one to tell you as a lecturer when they are done, meaning that, oh, you have done a lot, nobody, and what is too much. That's why you have to manage yourself. Sometimes, even myself, because of the passion for knowledge and writing, even last year, I think I published about 80 journal papers. In my life, I got, more than 900 papers, journal paper that I published, books, about about 60, 70 books, and chapter in book, about 200 chapter in books. So as I said here, there is nobody to tell you, okay, but you have to manage yourself. But if you can do, it's okay, because some people, they can do less, some people can do more. And sometimes the strength and the ability to do a lot of things is not given to everybody. But what is your strength there? You can do more. Some people, they can do a lot of things in a short time, and whereas for others, small thing they cannot do in a long time. It is depending. So the main thing, you have to manage your time. Okay, as a PhD holder lecturers, it's very important for us to have a postgraduate student. They are our, without them we cannot survive really. Why? Because we are so busy with meetings and applying grant and attending the conference, but who want to do the work? We don't have time to go to the lab. So student supervision is a measure of productivity and success, as we know. university use completed masters or PhD and PhD as KPI for research achievement and even for promotion. So it is important to supervise masters and PhD students, even postdoc. It will help us in writing papers and developing research product, research grant, etc. And we have to work with team, with the research group. And for the junior ones, I think I suggest that you work with the master student, to supervise master student with research, and start as a co-supervisor. You have a lot of professors in your department, so try to approach them that please, allow me to become the co-supervisor for one of your students. This is the strategy. And Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, I already got more than 96 PhD students graduated as a main and as a co-supervisor. It's quite a lot. And based on this 96 students that have graduated, I managed to publish a lot of things. If I were to write alone, especially this time at the advanced stage of my career, it's very difficult. But still, in this time, I managed to publish about 50, 60 papers a year. So this is because of the contribution from the student, from the master student, undergraduate student, and PhD student, particularly for your postdoc. So try to, in a nice way, try to persuade students, because nowadays, in order for people just to knock at your door and, okay, I want to do PhD under you, it is a luck sometimes, people, not everybody is so lucky to have that. And normally when they know one person, one student, join you as a student, you are the supervisor, and he will tell his colleague at his university or from local or international, or from overseas, they say, okay, you do your PhD with this lecturer, because he will give you good supervision, and he has good publication record, and he has some funding. So this is the way to attract the student, and through some contact and friendship. And for the fresh graduate, for doing masters, for instance, it's my opinion that you should have the, while they are in your class in the final year, try to approach them and then try to convince them, if they have some extra money, or you can have if you have money from your own grant, you can try to offer them to do so, and try to groom them to become a good researcher. Because nowadays the tendency of this fresh graduate, they want to work, because as soon as they got their degree certificate, they will want to go to work. They will be paid 2,000 ringgit. They're so happy with that. And very few students, they're willing to sacrifice. Sometimes when we are having grant, grant, and then sometimes the money is not consistent. The 1 year they cut, for example, and a lot of restriction also. That's why, try to think. I think if you think about that, you will get the student. And see, I believe in department, you have your research team already. So research team can take in many forms, depending on the purpose, the funding, roles, location, and with diverse background. They have in common an identity as group of people working together in a committed way towards common research goal. And we must build the research niche, and also molding the research fields. And we can even launch a new research program and lead in, you must work, collectively in research. It's very difficult to work in silo individually and to become the, good researcher. You have to work in team, collaboration, with a mentor. And this is the topic. This is collaboration and working. Better research result can be achieved when more thought are being put into the topic studied and compared to individual effort. Small, focused conference is a good platform to nurture research collaboration. So if you go to any conference, very broad in nature, conference in science and technology, conference in engineering, you get benefit, of course, but they are so diverse. People in robotics also in that conference, people in material, people in ergonomics. So it's quite difficult to be, to collaborate and to find the people who are in the same area. If you go for a specialized conference, for example, composite material, my area, or even to go for biocomposite conference, this, you'll find a lot of people with a common interest, and it will nurture the research collaboration quite readily. So the major problem with research collaboration are on the authorship of research publication, particularly on the patent, IP, and certain universities, they are so particular about, their staff should be in that, the patent. But for the journal paper, I think there's not issue at all. The more you collaborated with others in writing good journal paper, the better, you can, this is one way also to increase the number as well as the quality of your research work. If you have 20 people, you work in the same area, you collaborate with 2 different universities, so the potential for you to get 20 or 30 papers, journal papers, is quite easy. Okay, it's written here, collaboration encourages fast execution of research tasks. Okay, this is the topic that, when you talk about research, that you must, we cannot avoid that. We must talk about this, publish and flourish. It's a recent, the saying, adage. But in the past, back in 1940, people used to mention this, publish or perish. If you are published, you can enjoy yourself. But if you don't publish, you're not being promoted. This is what it means. Okay, publishing research means that others can see the tangible evidence of the effort and intelligence put into the work. So this is the definition of research, publishing. And research and publication, this must go hand in hand. So major consideration in research is contribution to the knowledge. Yeah? Yes, research is contribution to the knowledge, but how you want to gauge that? Okay, the quality papers are meant to gauge the knowledge. So you publish in Nature, your own work, or your own review, you publish in Science, and nobody will question about predatory journal, bogus journal, and so it's very important for us to go for top journal, Q1 or Q2, at least. I think Q2 journal is not difficult, because I think, but Q1 maybe these days they didn't knowing that their position. We are Q1, they try to be oh no, not everybody can publish in our journal. The rate of success, the submission rate, those papers being accepted, sometimes they specify, see, just 28%. Beyond that, we delete, we reject. Yeah, sometimes they reject for nothing. We know that we publish the same paper, similar paper in the same journal, and yet we submit, and then they said right away, the editor said we don't want your paper. Sometimes we feel amazed. Why? The reason is because not because of your work at all, because of the percentage that is set by for example, the indexing body like Scopus or like Clarivate Analytics, that can Clarivate that what is the number percentage acceptance rate. So that's why sometimes if your papers is not accepted, I think they just don't feel oh, my work is not good. So I mentioned that quality of the good researcher is a persistent. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 journals rejected, but you go to the 5th one, they will inshallah accept your work. Okay, publishing in high-profile journal with reputable publishing house is very important. Try to find a good publisher as well, with a good H index, with a good the impact factor. And target for Q1 if you can. Try to refer to the like journal citation report. I think many university has subscribed that before you submit, and try to see also that how long they stay in that. Sometimes one journal they are in Q1 only for 1 year, and then they drop again. Sometimes even the name are removed from the index company. So that's why we have to go for the stable one. Yeah, and I know, I understand that not that every papers can go into top journal. There are some journal papers that we produce are of lower quality, and the content may not, the depth of the work is not there. Sometimes it is only undergraduate work. We know how the limitation, their capability also for undergraduate student. We understand that, but there are way of overcoming that. We go for example, Scopus or Q4, Q3, and I noticed that there's one obstacle in publishing in Q1, Q2 now. Majority of the publishers, good publishers, not talking about MDPI. MDPI is good, but they specify, they just tell that you have to pay, 12,000 ringgit. No compromise. Maybe they give you some discount. Sometimes they give you for free because you are reviewing their papers, something like that. Or you become the editor for special issue, 1 or 2 papers they give you for free. But otherwise you have to pay 12,000 ringgit. They give you maybe discount, 10%, 20%, and a lot of money. But they have that policy from the beginning. Normally they are very fair. If their paper are not good, they reject and they go for a review. But nowadays the publisher like Elsevier, all these things, Springer, they also charge nowadays. It's quite difficult now because they also want to make profits. Through subscription, they get less money. Through the open access, they got more money. But after that, your papers are accessible for open access. There are about 30,000 active journals being published worldwide. Mere writing is not good enough these days. But the main thing is whether the knowledge has the element of novelty. Papers published in journals have the followings: research-based, original work, scholarly works, and high quality. And I think this is an important point in any research paper, in a journal paper, about research question. Research question is the starting point of any research. The unknown researchers, this is the unknown for researcher to have to give the answer. This question are different depending on professional experience, and you must ask yourself the research question to solve, which must meet the criteria. So whether you knowing it or not, in your paper there is some research question. I think normally people put it in the end of the introduction. There's some research question what you want to try to solve, and then even to some extent, some editor or some reviewer asking you to put the research hypothesis. Normally, our practice is just to write. In this paper we are doing this. We are doing this, like some methodology. We maybe cite one, objective or aim. But a good paper, we have to state the research question, and at the end, in your conclusion, your research question is answered. And H-index, we mentioned it a lot, and it is the measure of lifetime achievement. H-index is the highest number of age for which whole that an author has age publication that are cited age time or more. H-index cannot fall over time, meaning it keep on increasing. Ranking based on H-index favors with longer career. Of course, you're the more senior, the higher your H-index. But whether you like it or not, this is the indication that many bodies they're looking for. For example, you apply for the World Academy Science Awards. They will ask you what is your H-index, or you're applying for Khawarizmi International Award. They're asking for H-index. Any awards, they're asking for H-index. So, as I said again, H-index, you cannot contribute. I mean, like as I said, you cannot ask the reviewer or as a reviewer, you cannot ask the author to cite your work. I mean, except this is really very, very important work that you feel that they should cite. Yes, but just merely listing your work for them to cite is not good also. Asking your friend to cite, yes, for the sake of, this one, increasing your H-index also, to me, is not very good. But the best one is, they just, by nature, they want to, by default, they want to cite your work. They want to cite your work, because this work is so important, they want to cite. But how you want to get that? This is why, in the beginning, I also find it difficult. But nowadays, sometimes every week, my H-index increased by, 1 or 2, even the citation increase in 1 week or by 50 or 100. So as I believe that because of the contribution in my books, through my books, because those are, for example, in the area of biocomposite, just those around me, only one person on top of me, Professor, Amar Mohanty, he has about 45,000, 47,000 citation. Mine the second, which is 37,000, and just below me, some top professor in Europe. They are before from US. They from long time. They are very top. But nowadays I managed to beat all them. I'm the second now in biocomposite because by the fact that I publish a lot of books and they don't publish, and this is one way to achieve that. And then other thing is also through publishing in high impact journal that you have the tendency to be cited. Of course, here sometimes you have to cite your own paper. They allow about 15%, for example, you cite your own work. If you have 30 references, you have 20 from your own papers, I think it's not good. Amount to self-citation, self-citation, it's not good. But I think about 15%, so you have got 100 papers, 15 papers is from your own paper, you cite, it's all right, and it helps you in increasing the H index and citation. Okay, another, the strategy is activity that you must do is book writing. So, from the beginning of my career, when waiting for my Viva, I wrote two books, authored book. As I know, the books have got two types. One is authored book and edited book. Of course, edited book is easier. Authored book is it's not that easy because one of the book that I published in 2017 that won the Anugerah Buku Negara National Book Award, it was actually the compilation on the content is based on my PhD work and the work after I completed my PhD. So about the work of 20 years, I summarized it into one book. And it was a very tough job because I never published authored book with a top publisher. But I took courage. I contacted the Elsevier US that I want to publish my work. This is the framework, and some chapters are ready already. So they are ready, and some chapters, please consider me. And I was so lucky that it was in 2017. They said, okay, 2016, they said your paper, your book, your proposal is accepted. Now you write. You got 1 year to write. So because this is authored book, I had to write on my own. Was tough job, really. And whereas edited book I did earlier in 2010 with the CRC Press, they are not that difficult, just like you are the editor of the conference. You just compile the work, collecting the work from the various authors. Yeah. And not much job from your side, you can become edited book. But I advise that you also, as a group, try to organize edited book. This is much easier. Maybe 4 or 5 lecturers get together and publish, and go for the top publisher. And your area, whether you like it or not, your area is unique. Nobody else doing the same PhD with you. You are the only one doing PhD in that topic, that particular topic, very specific topic. So you must know your position. People want to hear, you want to read your work. Don't go for the, sometimes even, people scared bogus publishers. You're so scared. Don't go for approach the top publisher. Springer, Elsevier, the CRC Press, Wiley, they are willingly to publish your work. But they want to see some experience also. Try to engage some, senior, those who are established to be in your, as your co-author. You take the lead as the, editor, as the managing editor. Okay, this is for the authored book. So for the authored book and also the edited book. And when this is appear in Amazon, for example, this increase the visibility. And books also of two kind. We can write textbook. Textbook is okay. I read textbook. My first or second book was textbook, meaning that what your teaching material. After say 5 years, you just compile, improve, and improve. Make sure that there's no plagiarism. Make sure it's your own, your own material. Try to approach any publisher, your IIM press or any press outside, and to publish your textbook. But research book, I think you should go for international. And there is more visibility in that. And publication record, you must have the good publication track record for you to be excellent, to become an excellent researcher. And when I become the reviewer for promotion to professor or associate professor, this is the many universities ask me this question: what do you think about future, about the potential of this candidate for the future? Whereas even the post is he's already professor looking for higher grade professor. The same question is asked, meaning that so now he has this much work. So it will reflect that his work within, say, for the next 10 years. If you are associate professor, what you will be when you become professor. Are you really become renowned professor? That's why the track record is very important, publication record. And ladies and gentlemen, we have also, tried to be involved in this patent, copyright, and other IPR, like trademark, and also, focus on commercialization, product development, product showcase, exhibition, and licensing. And I know we cannot spend much on this because even if a top professor, they have only 10 patents, not much, not about 20, but 300 patents. No, there's some people that focus on that, but generally the professor has got not a limited number of patents, but they have patent. And as you know, that patent is very expensive exercise, maintenance fees, and long process. But trademark is also acceptable within our community. For example, if we apply for Young Scientist Award, National Scientist Award, so copyright also got mark. So maybe as many as, not as much, but maybe half of the rating given to the patent. So you must also try to copyright your work. For example, you are in mechanical engineering, you have design. Some design you can copyright, and you want to go for patent, maybe it's so difficult, and you go for copyright. For example, if you are working in material, the procedure, you write the manual for that procedure, it can be copyright. And commercialization is a very tough job, but if you are within, hard science, you can get, for example, engineering, you get some product, try to commercialize, get some company to sell. And it's not easy, but I think within 20 years, 30 years of your career, try to focus at least 1 or 2 products. And this will start with the product development. You develop the product and go for any exhibition, and then maybe some investor want to invest into, or even they want to buy your patent, for example. And teach well, though the topic is researcher, but it relates to teaching because you are in the same university. But maybe the last point, maybe good point to bring research into classroom. You have done research, a lot of work on composite, biocomposite, a lot of work on nanocellulose biocomposite material. So you are teaching composite class, you can include in your class, and this give the good knowledge, state-of-the-art knowledge to the student. Our students always being updated with the new technology. Instead, in addition to teaching them fundamental, you also talk about what your research can do with this in the subject matter you are teaching in the class. For example, you are teaching a composite material. Nowadays, there are in composite material people making nanocellulose composite from nanocellulose, and they use it in advanced application in electric car, for example. They use it in biomedical. They use it in energy harvesting. So this, give the student fresh knowledge of research. And so very important that we are teaching well, and it will help us also in research. Okay, this may not be related to research, but whatever your experience in research will count, will contribute. For example, I have done a lot of research on sugar palm, one of the plant in Malaysia. So we did a lot of work on that. working with the fiber. So somehow there's emphasis a lot from the university that we have to work with the community. So we apply for community grants and to work with in a village, in a rural area. They have got a lot of plan that we are working with that they don't use it, they don't utilize it. So we go into the village, that tell them that, oh, this material, that plant, the tree that you have, don't burn it. Take the fiber from that and try to make product, make different product. You can make it to brooms and brush from that. And also you can use the fiber, get some biopolymer starch from the same plant, make it into biocomposite. And you can even sell the fiber, can sell the starch from that plant. We did it before. So meaning that we have to do the work, community work. See, but for the beginners, for those are new, they said, we don't have time to do any volunteering work in our career because we simply don't have time, because also the merit given is not that much. But as you progress and you try to also focus some time in voluntary work. And because even when you come for the interview or you want to apply for the grant, they will ask you what are your contribution to the community. This is very important. You're not just talking about your H-index, corpus, etc., but your contribution to this community. What's your contribution in uplifting their economic levels? Through your sale of their product, for example, to the knowledge that you impart to them, and how to make sugar from that plant, for example. So you have also involved in industrial and community engagement, in consultancy work, research contract. You contribute to the society, making contribution to the knowledge, influencing people's behavior or thinking, and connecting with community through community projects. So I think I have mentioned it in previous slide also, some of them. Yeah, and as a lecturer, to become good, to become excellent, outstanding researcher, we must have also doing some professional services. This is beyond what is being told by the university, but if you have this kind of thing, it adds values and so many things that you can do, and through collaboration, you become the membership of, for example, of the Learned Society of, like in my case, Society of Automotive Engineers International, and become fellow. I happen to be the first fellow of the Society of Automotive Engineers International, and also it's currently the only Malaysian fellow. So I got 7 fellowship now, so many membership. So try to be active there. Of course, some of them involve money, and a lot of money also sometimes. But some fellowship, they are free. Like, I'm the fellow academic science. I don't have to pay anything. This is a lifetime fellowship. But in order to achieve that, it's not that easy. It's quite difficult, stringent. And you start with the membership. Like one society, IMEC, Society of International, the Institution of Mechanical Engineering, for example. You start with that. And after, say, 5 years, so try to upgrade yourself, try to apply for the fellowship. And this is very good, fellowship. And you become reviewer of journal paper, research grant proposal, jury, judge for exhibition, competition, and the editorial board members for journal. Some of them, they are being invited, but that's why you have to keep, the first thing you have to keep publishing. And one day they have the confidence in you. They thought, you are the who are consistently publishing and contributing in this area. So we want you to be part of our team as a board member. So, some of them come by luck, by chance, but majority they come from through hard work. Again, I mentioned a review of journal papers. Looks very ordinary, very simple, down to a job, but to me, it's very, very important job. Very important work. Also, we are helping others also. There are people who want to graduate in their PhD, for example, submitted to many journals, but unfortunately, the reviewer doesn't want to respond. Maybe 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. But in my case, I do it. I make like a list to myself. Any I mean, a journal want to publish within, if possibly within that point, I give the report. Sometimes 2-3 journals, invited me to give the review, to review the papers. Now, in Publon or in Clarivate, as I mentioned, recorded now more than 1,400 papers that I reviewed. So I enjoyed that, because I learned a lot from that. I know what are the current state of the art knowledge in that field. Okay, get recognized, So you are working in a certain important area. You publish the work there. You got a lot of grant and you produce a lot of students. You have done a lot of things in that area. So try to reward yourself. There are from time to time many organizations they asking for, the applicant to be, the nominated, or even you can self-nominate yourself. Very seldom that, the organizer of the reward, you just handpick you, like maybe the number laureate, maybe they just choose, like I won 2 days ago from KPT, the Icon Academia, they choose it. I apply, but majority of the award, prestigious award, you have to apply. When they apply like I mentioned, shown here, the fellow SAE, I have to apply, very stringent, the requirement. You have to have a lot of referees letters and your contribution to the society, to the committee, this organization. And same thing when I received this year, the Subir Chowdhury Medal of Quality Leadership. It's international. I got it from the Michigan, from the Detroit. So this is very prestigious. So you have to apply. And then some award come unexpectedly, is what I said 2 days ago that I got, but majority you have to apply. So this is an example that is available for you, and more for you than people like me, young National Scientist Awards, and so many like fellowship, a travel grant for the young researcher. If you are still young, 30, 31, 32, 29, please grab this. When you become 40 and above, 45 is very difficult. When you are 50, 55, even more difficult. They're looking for more on achievement award rather than just want to give you the money. You want to give you the award, even the award with money, and give you recognition. It's very important. So international invitation to collaborate on research work and working in a reputable university, international recognition, prestigious award, research exhibition. This is 2 types of award, and one is prestigious award, like you apply for prestigious award, and as an exhibition, normally you have to compete. You have to, they give you gold medal, silver medal. I also attended, but I'm not so good in that. But there are a lot of people they are really very good in that. They got Geneva, all this thing. So if you have that, have got funding and you got some, talents, you can go for that. But I am more focused on prestigious award. It's one of the recent award that I received, and then also this year, the Anugerah Tokoh Pekerja UPM, I received this year, and this year I got it only 2 days ago also. International Society of Bioneering Engineering give Outstanding Contribution Award, and this society in China normally they give money. So I got the reward of 20,000 for this one. We had to receive. See, these are the example, yeah. So try to reward yourself. And one of the important thing as a researcher, though it look like managing your career, but it's very important thing. I used to make it a habit for me to update my CV on daily basis, but this years I'm so busy that I update after 6 months. But it is very important. You have done a lot of work, like writing papers, component papers. Sometimes we forget to write in our CV. Keep comprehensive record on this activity. This record, i.e. CV, serve as evidence for promotion, grant, and job application. So I compile my CV about 650 pages. Of course, I keep it as my record, but I don't give to people because too long. But I have also a shorter version of my CV maybe about 10 pages that and sometimes I just prepare one half page of my summary of my career biodata. And anytime the people are asking for CV, people want to appoint you as the excellent assessor for the program, they want CV. They want to give you award, they want CV. They want to promote you as give you a good post also, they want CV. So you have to review your performance, as a lecturer, as academic staff. Performance review is important in preserving and improving research capability. University, as we understood, have a formalized review process for lecturers for annual evaluation, performance evaluation for the promotion, and even for the review for the Myra grant or something, or even for student and peer evaluation of teaching, assessment of research output, and performance review. These evaluations are important because they are component of promotion and other decision-making process. Get refreshed, get refreshed. What I mean, people thought you are lecturers, you can get longer holiday, 3-month holiday, summer vacation, job autonomy, you are given choice to work where you want. I mean, it's quite flexible. You can go to the industry, you can go to the community. Social status, respect you as a lecturer, associate professor, flexible working hours, unlike people who look at clerical work, they have to be there 8 to 5, even like that. So people think that this job is very attractive. However, they didn't see the intensity of pressure in the university. That's why we are sometimes have anxiety, stress, depression, mental health problem, as a lecturers, deadline and marking and the KPI in research, KPI in student, so many things they want, even difficult to get promoted. So my opinion, take some time off and get refreshed. And you bring the good idea, fresh idea. Get informed and stay current. For excellent researcher, keep abreast of research work and current event in and around your fields. What is going on in composite? Who is doing this biocomposite? Why you have to do this biocomposite, nanosource biocomposite? Where is it in University of Mataram in Indonesia? Is it Hasanuddin in Indonesia? Is it in Chulalongkorn? So we have to know this. It is done out of curiosity. You just want to know, but it's rewarding to be comprehensive and systematic in the quest. So sometimes it's very beneficial. So oral presentation, public speaking, means speak, is very important. And talking about research is career supporting opportunity. Speaking at fora, conferences, is letting others know about the research. It opens up collaboration with others. Spoken presentation can also support career more directly. You present the papers in conferences, any invited speakers, keynote, plenary lectures, try to, entertain them, and sometime online, sometime face-to-face. You present seminar and webinar and conduct training as well. It's one way for you to be very confident into your work, and your work can be imparted to others, and people get benefit from your work through oral presentation. Okay, at university, I took 3 times during my service. The first time I applied, they said, no, you cannot apply anymore because your service is not that long. So sabbatical leave is a privilege, not the right, but it's very important, very good. Keep away from teaching, any committees, academic duties, go to the independent work, like doing independent research, writing books, go to Cambridge, spend 6 months there and have the experience and get the knowledge, get the experience, get new ideas and change the environment. Still the academic environment, but different from your university. Get the new ideas, new direction of research. Very important. And preserve public reputation. Okay, as researcher and as the lecturers, we have to preserve public reputation. What people think about you. Don't indulge in any controversial issue. As academic, you are a public figure now. You are maybe not a celebrity, but you're a public figure. People know this is a lecturer, this is a professor. Semester after semester, year after year, you are taught classes of 10 to 100 students. You have a lot of your followers. So sometimes you do during the, the the MCO, for example, do some online recording research, lecture, and or you meet them. They are viewed by students. You never met them face to face. They know you. They know you by name, background, your interests. They know where you are. Where's your activity? And the current and the past student see you and watch you, and you watch your daily activity. That's why you have to preserve your public reputation as a lecturer. And stay happy and healthy. Staying happy and healthy are important career success as a researcher, to become prominent researcher. Happiness is determined by sometimes genetic character, salary. You are paid very highly as a lecturer, as a professor. Work location, not congestion, no jam. Office space, good, space for me to work. Material possession and affected by belief and behavior. Keep stress under control. Very important. Feeling confident as a researcher. Be happy. And one thing, you must manage your disruption, transition, and interruption. So it's very important in your career. Manage them successfully. Moving from, for example, maybe from one position to another. You are just lecturer. Suddenly your dean said you are appointed as head of department. You must adjust. And for the ladies, pregnancy leave, maybe long leave, they have to go and join back to work. See some like what do you call it, transition, and children and other major factors in your life. You're not children now, you got 3 children. So there's some transition in your life. Try to manage it. As a conclusion, I think in 15 minutes. Balance of work is important for a good researcher in teaching, research, service, family, and social responsibility. The aim of research is to discover the truth. Otherwise we know the knowledge from our hypothesis this is happening. But we do the research because we want to discover the truth. With hard work, nothing is impossible. We can make the change, even big change. Believe to discover the truth, although majority, even against you, but with your belief that in your research, you can prove it is wrong, or certain theory is wrong, certain thing is wrong. So in the end, I would like to thank RMC IIUM for inviting me to deliver this lecture, to Professor Hazlin, my old colleagues that she invited me specifically to give the lecture, and my my students, my former student, Dr. Tariq Jamil, who helping me to prepare the presentation. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for your participation and attention. And you have any question? We got 13 minutes, 15 minutes. I can answer. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much to Professor Safwan for the sharing just now. I learned a lot, to be honest. Like, I never got this a very detailed input from someone's very experienced in research. Like, even though I stayed 5 years of being as a researcher and academic, I think it's always a good time. Always best that you find a way to reset back, check back yourself to understand back where you are right now and where you're going to pursue from now. So yeah, we open questions for all the members. So for those will have a question, you may use the raise hand function in Zoom if you want to ask directly to our speaker today, or you may write your question in the chat box. And we have about 30 minutes before we end our session for today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Amir here. Okay. So I just like to ask a question about ranking. Okay. Okay. How important is the university ranking to the researcher? Okay, so aiming to be a top scientist, so.
Well, there are 2 points of view. One is your individual achievement. You can be, in the university that not very high ranking, but you can be excel. Is one thing. But if you are in a good university, this is it's more opportunity there, like funding, come to the university with higher ranking. Even people want to collaborate with you, they want to go for the university with higher ranking. There are two ways, as I mentioned. One is you yourself, and the other one is your university. Now, suppose we are in UPM, our ranking, what, 132 in the world? We're looking for ranking, you go for NUS, people will go to NUS rather than UPM 132. But still, to me, as the researcher, I still can excel, IET gave me last year an award, achievement award. Though it's only finalist, but to me, it's just like awards. This year, SAE, and they gave me a lot of recognition. So we know your ranking is not that good as NUS, So, but of course, when you are in like NUS, you have a #1 ranking, for example, in Southeast Asia or even in Asia, you have got more opportunity lah. I mean, see the funding when you apply for funding. So there are two things lah, Prof. Yeah? One thing is, even if you are in a good ranking university, but you are not performing that well, it's average. I think it's good for university for the ranking, but for you, you're still there. But again, ranking is to me also helping lah, because like UPM, we are considered second in the country, sometimes third in the country. So the ranking, when we have this good ranking, student, for example, they want to come to us. They like to come to us because of the ranking. Also, some of them, though some of them through the friends, this university is not so good, they're so strict, but ranking is still important in that case. So I think I have more answer, but I think that is understood.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Prof. Sopwan, and thank you, Prof. Hamid, for the question. So, I have two questions, Prof. Sopwan, because looking into the current situation in the IUM, we can divide into one totally new lecturers academic, and another one more in already 5 years or 10 years ahead. So maybe my first question is for the new lecturers academic, how exactly, because you did mention you need to fine tune what is your expertise you want, what kind of expertise you want to pursue, and then how to plan yourself. So that must be the question. So how was it to help those totally just become academic, okay, I'm lost, what I should do? I know I need to teach, I need to do research, but I'm lost. That's my first question. On my second question, do so 5 years, 10 years ahead, and then there's a point there where you actually you feel overwhelmed, because we have so many things need to be done, and then kind of should I do this, should I do this, kind of overwhelmed, and then sometimes people got burnt out. So how exactly to assist those that stuck?
Okay, the topic of the talk here is research. Yeah, we talk about research.
Yeah.
So I will not, because in university you got also teaching, you got also services. We focus about research. Actually, this PowerPoint is designed for the new lecturer. It's meant for actually USM last week. It is requested by the USM to give lecture to the new lecturers. So majority of the content of this lecture is for you, the new lecturer. For those who are already senior, about 5 years, 10 years, there are some related to promotion to AP. I'm talking about that is related to research, yeah? And then to become, the research leader, that could be the suitable for them. So for research, I think the point that I mentioned is valid for the new lecturers, and also can be implemented by the senior lecturers or professors, like keeping your CB update, timekeeping, all those attributes that I mentioned. It's all important. And applying grant, work with a mentor, try to be working with the collaborators, and then work with somebody who has got good citation. These are all the ingredient for the new lecturers to succeed. But the same formula also can be applied for the seniors who are already 10 years. And perhaps, the opportunity for the seniors are different than the junior one. So there are, for example, awards for the new lecturers, they're 3 years, 4 years, you can apply the awards that based on young, for example, young scientists for you. But for the senior one, you can apply the grant, the lifetime achievement award, for example. Same thing with grant. For the senior one, grant you must lead. Yeah, you already 10 years. You must become the leader, principal investigator. But for the young one, you must become the member. But even if you want to lead also, you must lead the small, research grant with a small amount of money. This is normally the norm. This is about grant. About the student, for the young one, PhD student, this is quite difficult. I can accept that, it's very difficult. They don't want to go to you, they want to go to the senior one. So, but try to negotiate with the senior one, please, put me as the co-supervisor. But for the master student, maybe, the head of the department also normally receive the application. Okay. Perhaps this master student give to the head of the department, play the role, give this potential student to the new staff or the masters, and so that they can learn. So basically, what I mentioned throughout my lecture is meant for the new lecturers because he designed for that, but it can be applicable for those are senior. Because in research, there is not much different. You have to talk about H-index journal, you have to talk about the grant, you have to talk about the PhD student, master student, high impact citation. This is what you want to achieve. But I don't expect those are in first year, second year to have, H-index until say 10. But you must know from the day one, yeah, there is H-index there. I have to achieve. But for those are already in the mid-career, so yeah, this is a time for me to improve my H-index. From which way I think you use your creativity. But I have to improve because people outside there is looking for that. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Do you have any questions from the other members in the Zoom meeting? Feel free to use the mic if you want to ask directly to our professor.
Assalamualaikum, Prof.
Yeah, please, Dr. Hafiz.
Okay, I have a question. Thank you very much, Prof, for your very clear explanation, especially for us, the new lecturers. One thing, Prof, considering that IIUM is not like UPM, so you have lots of funds to support the publication. When you go for Q1, Q2, for example, there will be some incentive. But for us at IIUM, even you submit to Nature, so it will be like nothing. Maybe it is good for our CV, but it is not even recognized in certain places. Now I want to know if that is the case. How do we actually motivate ourselves, the new lecturers, to publish more in good journals? Considering that another issue is that when we don't have enough funding to pay for certain journals like in MDPI, Frontiers, where they put certain amount of APC, which is very, very expensive. Considering that for RU, they have like some funds to support all these subscription or APC. So for us at IIUM, considering that the limitation of funding, so how do you advise us, the new lecturers, how we can move forward to increase our H-index and publication with that limitation we have here, Prof? Your advice will be very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, when there is a will, there's a way. And also the topic of this lecture is on how to become prominent researcher. So these two things, yeah. And the publication fund is the past. It's already passed in UPM. Even incentive is already passed. It become history. Okay, you must understand that. Or all now stop, except very limited. Instead of sometime in 1 year, I can ask the university to pay about 20, 30 papers. Nowadays, only 2 papers are allowed, which is really almost nothing. This one thing you must understand because of the economic situation in the country, even in the world. Number 2, yeah, even incentive. Incentive, normally I receive about 40K every year, But despite publishing 80 papers last year, I only get 14K, which to me is very low amount, which is almost considered nothing. See, I think that this is very fair now. Not that I'm happy these specialists are withdrawn, but now I think I can be, working in the real world without any support, I can work. Nowadays, despite these two facilities, alhamdulillah, I published about 50 this year. You know how? You know, the key word is, you know, I think because of the collaboration. In the absence of the facilities, the funding and the incentive, you have to work in collaboration. You know, you like in my case, this year about 20 journal, I think, and we participate by others, people from overseas, people from other university. Sometimes I surprised, you know, who paid this? You know, I got a lot of papers through some collaboration. Okay, but that one maybe consider I'm very senior lah. People like to put my name, or I just contribute my part only. So for you as a young researcher, maybe in different scenario, once you join, you got nothing of that sort. Like when I joined 20 years ago, all these facilities are there. Sometimes in 1 year I got 50. Those days 50,000 cash, not in form of incentive, and nobody what 2003 I used the incentive, and nobody used that money those days. So I used that, and it's to increase the number of publication, because you know that one thing is people say, oh, you're looking what you must look at the quality, not quantity. But to me, quantity and quality is important. Both are important. Okay. Now, for you as a young researcher, without any facilities, even funding is so difficult. You know, my suggestion: you try to collaborate with somebody. Even if you're in my field, as I am willing to work. If you're in composite material, I'm willing to work with you. And also, you must also remember that not all the journal are paid journal. The established publisher like Springer, Wiley, the CRC Press, the Sage, you know, a lot of their journals still, you know, subscribe by subscription. They got, through subscription they got money. So you can still send this. And people think that, you know, if I send to MDPI, yeah, it is fast and normally rejection rate is low. But actually, if you are writing properly, if you write your work properly, you send to any like Wiley journal, you know, Elsevier journal, which are still free, Sage, you know, your paper is acceptable. They can accept your work. You know, only thing, they are not that fast like MDPI. MDPI is super fast because many people complain about them, but they are doing the work. You know, they give the, you know, coupon for the, to reduce the fee, and they give you so many things, so many perks to you. But others are not that way. But still, you go for the journal, you know, journal from, for example, Spring, a Q2 or Q3, you get some papers from there and try to reverse engineer and submit your work. I think they will publish that one without any pay, without charge. Because nowadays the thinking of the people, I must have money, and also I must, and then I can publish. And I don't believe that, but because the culture in the past 3-4 years, they publish work and with payment, and I just accept that we have money, but then we don't have money. So, you know, we can go back to the traditional one. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Professor, for the explanation, and thank you to Hafiz for the question. So I believe we already like 1:12, and then it means that we need to end our session for today. And on behalf of RMC and IUM, we'd like to present our appreciation to our speaker today, Professor Dr. Muhammad Safwan Salid, for the sharing of his experience, this knowledge for everyone here. I believe we learned a lot. I personally learned a lot. Yeah, it's also like for me, like a good, as I said earlier, like good for me to sit down and think back what's happening with my current research performance right now, and how can I improve further ahead. And I believe Michael and Fran, you also learned a lot from our professor. So again, thank you so much, Jazakallah khairan kathira, to Professor Dr. Muhammad Safwan Salid for the sharing and the talk. And then to all members who attend our session for today, please do not forget to fill in the I attend for your attendance, and also please free to fill up also our evaluation forms that I already mentioned the link in our chat box in the Zoom. So again, before we end our talk for today, if you have any suggestion, any comment for our improvised our series, and perhaps you have any suggestion what kind of talk you would like to hear from RMC in future, feel free to contact RMC. You may email them directly or contact the office for a suggestion and what kind of talk you would like to hear from now on in the future. So again, I'm Izzat Sufyan from Khilaf Pharmacy. Thank you so much everyone for your time, and we shall end our talk for today with Tasbih Kafarah as well to us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a great afternoon, everyone.
Thank you. Jazakallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum.